of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by Council Member Chris Harmon.
Would you pray with me, please? Heavenly Father, in your word you have given us a vision of that holy city to which the nations of the world bring their glory. Behold and visit, we pray, the cities of the earth. Renew the ties of mutual regard which form our civic life. Send us honest and able leaders. Enable us to eliminate poverty, prejudice, and oppression, that peace may prevail with righteousness, and justice with order, and that men and women from different cultures and with differing talents may find with one another the fulfillment of their humanity. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes of our September 9th meeting? We have a motion. Without objection, the minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you. Tonight we have a presentation. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Is that on? All right. I would invite anyone who wants to join me back here at the podium to recognize the 30th anniversary of the Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA. Court-Appointed Special Advocates was chartered on September 26, 1984, and has been steadfastly serving the city since that time. Let me also, before we continue, invite Jane Andrews to come up and join me as well. CASA advocates speak for children in courts to ensure they find safe, permanent homes, and children who receive a CASA are more likely to end up in a home with these stable attributes. CASA provides a crucial resource of trained advocates who speak exclusively for the children. It is the CASA volunteer's duty to acquire an in-depth knowledge of each assigned case, express the child's best interest to the court, and act as a watchdog for the child during the life of the case. Advocates make certain these children are not forgotten and lost in the system, and their recommendations help judges make more informed decisions for children in need of a voice during an uncertain and often frightening time. In the past year, there were 2,147 children who came before juvenile court due to allegations of abuse and neglect, and CASA was able to provide 478 of them with a voice of their own through the volunteer court-appointed special advocates. It is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council recognizes this occasion to honor the work that CASA volunteers have worked tirelessly to provide for thousands of our abused and neglected children of Davidson County over the past 30 years. Therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, the Metropolitan Council hereby goes on record as recognizing court-appointed special advocates on the occasion of their 30th anniversary. The Metropolitan Council Office is directed to prepare a copy of this resolution to be presented to Jane Andrews, Executive Director of CASA. This resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption, the welfare of Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County requiring it. And with that, I would yield the rest of my time to Jane Andrews, Executive Director of CASA.
Thank you, Peter, Vice Mayor, council members. Thank you for this recognition of CASA's service to the court, the juvenile court of Davidson County over the past 30 years. You know, when a child is in court due to abuse and neglect, it's up to the judge or the magistrate to make a decision as to the best place for that child to live. And many times, they have to decide whether to reunite those children with their parents, have the child live with a relative, the child goes in foster care, and sometimes the children are adopted. Well, those decisions are very hard to make unless you have all of the facts of the case. And many times through the years, the decisions have been made with less than 100% of the facts of the case. And that's because the judge doesn't have the means where we're all to get the information. We're all sadly aware of the shortcomings of our child welfare system, and that's where CASA has been able to help. Our CASA volunteers are trained to present fact-based recommendations to the court that are in the child's best interest, the recommendations of services the children need, recommendations of the safest, most permanent place for the child to live. And we've been serving Davidson County Juvenile Court for 30 years. We, as Peter said, were able to serve 22% of the children that came through the court last year. Our goal is to keep growing our CASA agency until we can serve 100% of the abused and neglected children in our very own community who need a voice of their own in court. Thank you for this recognition.
We are now at elections and confirmations. Councilmember Harmon.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee met this evening and considered the appointment of Mr. Bobby Edwards and Mr. Will Nesby to the Agricultural Extension Board. We approved that, 7 in favor, none opposed. We also considered the appointment of Mr. Alex Buchanan to the Historical Commission, again with 7 in favor and 0 opposed, and I would move their confirmation.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Bobby Edwards, Will Nesby, and Alex Buchanan. On behalf of the entire Metropolitan Council, thank you for your willingness to serve and to donate your time and your expertise to our great city. Thank you very much. We are now to our consent agenda resolutions. I will tell you the 3 that are not on consent. Then I will read the ones that are, and then you can tell me if there are others that need to be pulled. RS 2014-1215, 1216, and 1217 are not on the consent agenda. 1218 approves a contract between the State Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services to the General Sessions Court for mental health evaluations and treatment for defendants charged with misdemeanor crimes. 1219 approves a grant from the State Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to prepare eligible participants for re-entry into the labor force. 1220 approves a grant from the Conservancy for the Parthenon in Centennial Park to the Metro Parks and Recreation Department to support the implementation of the Centennial Park Master Plan. 1221 approves an annual grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission to the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation to supplement the Big Bang Dance Program in Centennial Park. 1222 approves an amendment to a grant from the Greater Nashville Regional Council to the Metro Social Services Commission for personal care, homemaker, and nutrition services. 1223 approves an agreement between the Metro Board of Health and Centerstone of Tennessee to provide worksite POD for licensed medical professionals to distribute antivirals and vaccines in the event of a public health emergency. 1224 approves a clinical agreement between the Metro Board of Health and the University of Tennessee to provide clinical opportunities for students. 1225 authorizes A. Marshall Family Foods, Inc. to install, construct, and maintain an aerial encroachment at 500 Church Street. 1226 authorizes Goo Goo Cluster, LLC to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 116 3rd Avenue South. 1227 authorizes Boot Barn, Inc. to construct and install an aerial encroachment at 18 Broadway. 1228 authorizes the Department of Law to settle the personal injury claim of Robert Corker against Metro Government, $49,010.75. 1229 recognizes September as National Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, and 1230 proclaims October 9th, 2014 as Pandas Awareness Day. Do any of those need to be pulled? Seeing none, I will need committee reports. Councilmember Pridemore.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Budget Finance voted 13 for, 0 against the following bills: 1218, 1219, 1220, 1221, 1222, and 1228.
Thank you. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Health, Hospitals, and Social Services Committee approved 7 for, 0 against the following bills: 1222, 1223, and 1224.
Thank you. Councilmember Bennett.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Parks Committee approved both 1220 and 1221, 8 for, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Weiner.
Thank you. Personnel voted 6 for, 0 against to recommend approval.
Thank you. Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved bills 1225, 1226, and 1227, 10 and 0.
Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public safety beer and regulated beverages approved 1218, 6 and 0.
Thank you. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. For RS 2014-1225, 1226, and 1227, Public Works approved those three, 6 for and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Harmon.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Rules approved 1229 and 1237 in favor, 0 opposed, and I would move approval of the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We will now go back to RS 2014-1215, appropriates $2,573,000 in supplemental appropriations from the undesignated fund balance and other sources for the benefit of the Police Department, Fire Department, Parks Department, Election Commission, General Services, and Administrative Functions. Councilmember Pridemore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. The Budget Finance Committee voted 13 for, 0 against. 12 for, 0 against, 1 abstention, and I move for approval with a short explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Pridemore.
I would like to, John, if you would, kind of give a brief synopsis of the bill, please.
Sure. This is a supplemental appropriation resolution for items that were not included in the operating budget approved by the council in June. The total amount of the appropriation is $2,573,000, but only about $1.3 million of that is from the General Fund Reserve Fund, which is made up comprised of tax dollars, property tax and sales tax dollars. The remainder is from some water sewer revenues, the Fleet Management Reserve Fund, and some parks rental fees. $1 million of this appropriation is designated for an economic development incentive for the Nashville television program. Resolution 1217, coming up in just a little bit, approves the grant agreement for that appropriation. $250,000 of this appropriation will be for National League of Cities, which is hosting its national convention here in Nashville in November 2015, that will bring thousands of local elected officials from all over the country to Nashville. And then finally, there's a $75,000 appropriation for the Election Commission to cover the costs of the early voting sites for the November election. If you recall, this $75,000 appropriation was agreed to in principle when the council approved the budget. It was acknowledged that once they knew the exact amount, they would be coming back for a supplemental appropriation.
Councilmember.
I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Tygart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just curious, either for you, Madam Chair, or Mr. Cooper, why these bills, why the individual measures were not referred to the individual committees for further discussion.
I will give you my explanation then, Mr. Cooper. That was a practice that we stopped about 3 or 4 years ago.
And that was for the 4% resolution.
Yeah, right.
So that pertained to the next resolution, 4%. But it would seem to me it would be appropriate that if there is spending designated for any department, that it should go to that particular committee for discussion also. That's just a personal opinion.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2014-1216 appropriates $3,959,500 from the General Fund Reserve Fund to 11 departments for the purchase of equipment and repairs. Councilmember Pridemore.
Budget and Finance voted for approval, 12 for, 0 against, and 1 abstention. And again, I move for approval, and I pass it to Mr. Cooper.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Cooper.
This is what is known as a 4% fund resolution. By charter, these funds can only be used for the purchase of equipment and repairs to metro buildings. The council usually considers 4% fund resolutions 3 times a year. The list of the 11 departments that are receiving funds and the specific items that are to be purchased is included in the analysis. I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any about those.
Councilmember Tygart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At what point did Metro go to an accrual system on the 4% fund as opposed to a cash basis?
Metro as a whole went to accrual accounting probably 99 or so. It was shortly before I came. Rich Riebling may know for sure.
And who determines, or what's the formula to determine what the expected revenue for a year is? Is it based on the budget?
Yeah, it's 4% of the general fund budget is anticipated.
And the accuracy of that over time, I assume that some years up, some years down, but always fairly close? Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-1217 approves an economic development incentive grant agreement between Metro Government and Music City Productions, Inc. to incentivize the production of the television show Nashville. Councilmember Pridemore.
Budget and Finance voted 12 for, 0 against, and 1 abstention, and I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading. Do either of these two need to be pulled for separate consideration? Seeing none, is there a motion for their approval? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on second reading. The first one is BL 2014-670, authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way, permanent easements, temporary construction easements, and property rights for the Gulch Pedestrian Bridge project. This bill will be automatically deferred per Rule 23. Next is 2014-835, changes .49 acres from R8 to SP zoning for property located at 1813 Beach Avenue to permit up to 7 detached residential units. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move for approval.
We need a committee report from Councilman Hunt.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning Zoning approved Bill 835, 10-4-0 against.
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-860 amends the Geographic Information System Street and Alley Centerline layer for renaming a portion of 28th Avenue North and 31st Avenue North as the Ed Temple Boulevard. Councilmember Maynard.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning voted to defer Bill 860 for one meeting, please.
Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Traffic and Parking deferred this bill as well. The request was sponsored for one meeting.
Thank you. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. Public Works also deferred one meeting, 6-4, and 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Maynard.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move to defer this for one meeting.
We have a motion and a second. You wish to speak on the deferral? Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor and members of the council. I agree and support the deferral motion of ordinance number BL 2014-860, and I urge every member of the council to support this deferral. This bill references a street located entirely in my council district, District 21, and I am not the sponsor of the legislation. There is significant opposition from members of my district, including the Reverend George T. Brooks of St. James Baptist Church located at 628th Avenue North here in the 21st District, and other ministers as well, and a significant number of residents that would be truly affected and impacted. Thank you for your consideration and your support.
All in favor of a one-meeting deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-871 adopts the property identification maps for tax assessment purposes. Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning approved Bill 871, 10-4-0 against, and I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-872 authorizes Metro Government to enter into an agreement with LPC Contractors of Southeast Inc. to provide public water service improvement. Councilmember Langster. Councilmember Langster.
I apologize, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. Public Works approved 6-4, and 0 against.
Councilmember Pridemore.
Budget and Finance voted 13-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Langster.
Move for approval, please.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-873 authorizes Metro Government to enter into a participation agreement with Laurel Property LLC to provide public water service improvements. Councilmember Pridemore.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Public Works voted to defer one meeting, 6-4, and 0 against.
Councilmember Pridemore.
Budget and Finance voted 13-4, 0 against. And I'll move for approval.
It needs to be deferred since the committee deferred it.
All right, I'm sorry, I didn't pay. Yeah, then I move for a one-meeting deferral.
We have a motion and a second for a one-meeting deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-874 abandons an existing 10-foot public utility drainage easement for properties located at 3622, 3622B, 3624, 3630, 3630B, and 3632 Redmond Street and at Normandy Circle. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 874, 10-4-0 against.
Thank you. Public Works.
Public Works also approved 6-4, 0 against, and I would move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-875 abandons retained easement rights for a portion of former alley number 1999 for property located at 1001 Riverside Drive. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. Public Works voted to approve 6-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 875, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you. With committee reports in, I'll move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-876 abandons retained easement rights in a portion of the former right-of-way of alley number 63 for properties located at 700 Broadway and 126 Rosa L. Parks Boulevard. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. Public Works voted to approve 6-4 and 0 against.
Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning approved Bill 876, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-877 abandons retained easement rights in the former right-of-way of alley number 123 for properties located at 300 and 312 9th Avenue South. Councilmember Gilmore.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Pattern here. Thank you. Public Works voted to approve 6-4 and 0 against.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 877, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-893 amends the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map by closing and abandoning the right-of-way and easements for alleys number 115 and 123, and authorizes the execution of a quitclaim deed to convey any interest Metro government possesses in the right-of-way. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. Public Works voted to approve 6-4 and 0 against.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 833, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on third reading. BL 2014-833 changes 1.01 acres from RS 7.5 to SP zoning for property located at 2324 Riverside Drive to permit up to 7 detached residential units. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
I believe I need a committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved this bill 833, 10-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilman Davis.
And we did have an amendment. Do we need the committee report on the amendment? Okay. I'd like to move the amendment then.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Any discussion? All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes.
I would like to move the bill as amended, please.
We have a motion and a second on the bill as amended. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-853 changes 2.04 acres from R10 to and OL to SP zoning for a portion of the property located at 410 Donaldson Pike to permit up to 15 residential units. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Ask for the committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 853, 10-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Claiborne.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-854 changes .14 acres from R6 to SP zoning for property located at 404 South 16th Street to permit 3 detached units. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I believe there's a committee report.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and Zoning approved Bill 854, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Westerholm.
With all committee reports in, I'd ask for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-855 changes 15.4 acres from RS15 to SP zoning for property located at 4214 Central Pike to permit a mixture of uses. Councilmember Glover.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 855, 10-4, 0 against as amended.
Councilmember Glover.
And we do have an amendment, so I'd move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second on the amendment. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, Councilmember Hayward.
Yeah.
Saw your light come on.
Madam Vice Mayor, I have to abstain on this vote on the amendment and the bill itself. Thank you.
Okay, we will do a machine vote. All in favor, we'll machine vote on the amendment.
I have to abstain.
Just wait 1 second.
I can't get mine to abstain.
Okay, vote. It's still not working. No, it is. Yay! Madam Clerk, will you close the machine? And you need to abstain on the...
I do. I got it.
Okay. Madam Clerk, will you close the machine and tally the vote?
The amendment on Bill 2014-855 passes 34-4, none against, 1 abstention.
Okay, the amendment passes. Councilmember Glover.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Now I'll move the bill as amended.
We have a motion and a second on the bill as amended. Seeing no discussion, we will have a machine vote. Madam Clerk, please close the machine and tally the vote.
I have 33-4, 0 against, 1 abstention.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next is 2014-856, changes 1.83 acres from R40 to SP zoning for property located at 7295 Sonia Drive to permit up to 16 residential dwellings. Councilmember Weiner.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 856, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Weiner. Sorry, the machines.
That's okay. Move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-858 changes .9 acres from SP to SP zoning for property located at Bell Road unnumbered, approximately 200 feet of Eagle View Boulevard, to permit a restaurant. Councilmember Dow.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 858, 10-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Dow.
I move for approval. I forgot, I have an amendment on this bill, so I need to probably move the amendment first.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes.
Thank you. Now I'd like to move the bill as amended for approval.
Have a motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. RS 2014-859 changes .16 acres from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 1008 Joseph Avenue to permit up to 2 detached dwellings. Councilmember Scott Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I do have an amendment. Do I need to suspend the rules?
Councilmember Hunt, need a committee report.
Apologize.
Planning and zoning approved Bill 859, 10-4, 0 against as amended.
Thank you. Councilmember Scott Davis.
I apologize, Vice Mayor.
No problem.
Mr. Cooper, I'd like to move for the amendment. I need to suspend the rules, please.
Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules? Seeing none, Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move the amendment.
We have a motion second on the amendment. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes. Councilmember Davis.
Yes, I'd like to move the bill itself as amended.
We have a motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-861 approves the acquisition of various easements and other property interests for 70 properties for the Brick Church Pike Gravity Sewer Pipe Upgrade Project. Councilmember Hunt.
Committee report, please.
Councilmember Pridemore.
Budget and Finance, 13-4, against.
Councilmember Hunt.
Planning and zoning approved 10-4, against, and I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-862 authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way drainage and temporary construction easements and property rights for 3 properties on North DuPont Avenue for a sidewalk project. Councilmember Pridemore.
With all committees approving this bill, I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-863 authorizes the acquisition of right-of-way drainage and temporary construction easements and property rights for 7 properties on Lebanon Pike for a sidewalk project. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All the committees have approved, so I would move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-864 authorizes the acquisition of drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and other property interests for 13 properties on Leashy Avenue for a sidewalk project. Councilmember Harrison.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Vice Mayor, through some miscommunication, I signed this bill in Scott Davis's absence, so I'd like to yield to him at this time.
Councilmember Scott Davis.
Thank you. Yes, current Councilman Harrison used to be the councilman in that area. It's hard to fill those big shoes, but hopefully I'm doing a good job. I just want to thank Public Works for their hard work on this. I'd like to move from the bill.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-866 accepts permanent and temporary easements for the Berrywood Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for property located at 5037 Timber Hill Drive. Councilmember Harmon.
Vice Mayor, are we on 865 or 866?
I mean 865, I apologize.
All right. All committee...
I have to read it. Authorizes the acquisition of drainage easements, temporary construction easements, and other property interest of 8 properties on Elysian Fields Road for a sidewalk project.
Thank you. All committee reports in, I would move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now on 866, which accepts permanent and temporary easements for the Berrywood Drive Stormwater Improvement Project for property located at 5037 Timber Hill Drive. Councilmember Harmon.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committee reports being in, I would move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-867 accepts a permanent easement for a stormwater improvement project for property located at 2617 Neldelia Court. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-868 abandons retained easement rights for former right-of-way for property located at 5300 Indiana Avenue. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committees in, I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-869 abandons an existing sewer pump station and easement and accepts 216 linear feet of 8-inch public sewer main for property located at 6019 Mountain View Road. Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committee reports are in. Everything is in order, and with that, I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2014-870 authorizes Metro government to enter into a participation agreement with Normandy 2 General Partners to fund a portion of the operation and maintenance of a public pressure sewer extension at the Fawn Crossing development. Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Once again, all committee reports are in. All things are in order. On behalf of Councilmember Duvall, I move both of these, and I move approval for this bill.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.